The scene opens inside the Chinese Foreign Ministry briefing room in Beijing, where the controlled calm of diplomatic messaging unfolds with its usual rhythm. The air is still, reporters shuffle their papers, camera operators adjust their lenses, and a familiar anticipation hangs over the hall as the podium waits for yet another response to growing international scrutiny. Over the years, these briefings have become a stage where global narratives collide, and today is no exception. What is simmering outside, the accusations, the tensions, the power plays, is about to be translated into carefully chosen words, delivered with signature precision. As Mao Ning steps to the microphone, the room goes silent. Her expression is composed, unwavering. She has addressed contentious topics many times before, but today she faces a double challenge, rebuffing fresh intelligence accusations from the United Kingdom and responding to an escalating dispute with Japan over seafood imports and political statements regarding Taiwan. Each issue alone would dominate a news cycle. Together, they converge into a moment that reflects the broader geopolitical recalibration in East Asia. The briefing begins with the matter that has made international headlines in the United Kingdom. Britain's domestic intelligence service, MI5, has accused Beijing of engaging in espionage activities involving members of the UK Parliament. The claims, though not unprecedented, have intensified amid broader conversations about foreign interference in domestic politics, a topic that many Western governments have used as a lens to examine China's global influence. Mao Ning addresses the allegation with the crisp decisiveness that characterizes the Chinese Foreign Ministry's communications. She reiterates China's long-standing position against foreign interference and rejects the claims as outright fabrications. Her voice is steady as she states that China has repeatedly expressed its firm position on this issue, insisting that the accusations amount to baseless speculation, amplified by what she describes as a sensationalist media climate. The phrasing is deliberate. Beijing has long framed such allegations as politically motivated exaggerations, designed in its view to stoke public fear or distract from domestic challenges inside Western countries. Her words underscore a consistent message. China sees itself not as an infiltrator, but as a victim of narratives that, in its interpretation, seek to undermine its rising global legitimacy. The mention of erroneous conclusions based on erroneous information signals Beijing's frustration with what it views as cycles of misinformation. And to reinforce this message, Mao Ning emphasizes a categorical denial. China, she insists, has never interfered in the internal affairs of other countries, nor does it have any interest in obtaining what she calls so-called confidential information about the British Parliament. The message, delivered calmly but firmly, is not only for the reporters in the room, it is for London, for Europe, for Washington, and for any other government watching the ongoing geopolitical tensions unfold. China wants it known that it sees the allegations as an engineered narrative, a narrative that it refuses to legitimize. But the briefing does not end with the UK. It quickly moves into another arena of growing friction: China's suspension of seafood imports from Japan, a move that has triggered a diplomatic backlash and revived historical sensitivities between the two countries. The dispute centers not only on food quality and documentation, but also on political remarks made by Japan's Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi, concerning Taiwan. Comments Beijing has condemned for crossing what it views as a red line. Mao Ning explains the situation with a tone that blends technical precision and political rebuke. She begins with the procedural matter. Japan had previously pledged to provide comprehensive technical documentation ensuring the safety and quality of seafood exported to China. These documents, she says, were a prerequisite, non-negotiable assurances intended to protect Chinese consumers and maintain regulatory standards. However, she contends that Japan has failed to deliver the documents it promised. The message is clear. From China's perspective, Tokyo has not upheld its responsibilities. But her comments quickly widen into the political terrain that remains at the heart of the dispute. She describes what she calls the retrograde actions and erroneous statements made by Premier Sanae Takaichi, particularly on Taiwan, an issue Beijing considers deeply sensitive. By labeling the comments retrograde, Mao Ning signals that Beijing believes Japan is moving backward, revisiting positions that China views as provocative and destabilizing. She adds that these statements have triggered strong indignation among the Chinese public, tapping into a nationalistic sentiment that often becomes a powerful force in China's foreign policy calculus. Her point culminates in a striking statement. Even if Japanese seafood were permitted to enter China, she says, there would be no market for it. This assertion underscores more than economic retaliation. It illustrates how diplomatic disputes can spill over into consumer behavior, public sentiment, and bilateral trust. It is both a warning and a reflection of the larger geopolitical environment, one where trade is no longer just trade, but a lever of diplomatic expression. As the briefing progresses, the cameras zoom in on Mao Ning's calm demeanour. Her expression never wavers, her posture never breaks. In one moment, the camera captures a tight close-up of her face, emphasizing the seriousness with which she delivers each sentence. Moments later, a wide shot shows her stepping away from the podium, the press room dissolving into the usual post-briefing movement, reporters exchanging notes, officials ushering her out, assistants collecting documents, but the core message she leaves behind continues to reverberate. The broader context behind today's remarks extends far beyond the walls of the press room. China's relationship with the United Kingdom has been strained for years, influenced by concerns over Hong Kong, technology, security alliances, and shifting economic dependencies. Each new accusation of espionage feeds into an atmosphere of mutual distrust. While London stresses national security and transparency, Beijing views such claims as politically motivated gestures aimed at curbing China's rise. The situation with Japan carries its own historical and geopolitical weight. China and Japan remain economically intertwined, but their political disputes, rooted in territorial claims, wartime history, and regional power balances, continue to resurface. Taiwan, in particular, has become a focal point in regional diplomacy, and Beijing reacts sharply to any foreign government's commentary that appears to challenge its sovereignty. By linking Japan's alleged failure to provide seafood documentation with its political remarks, Mao Ning presents the situation as part of a broader pattern of Japan's actions that, from China's perspective, undermine mutual trust. And the public indignation she references is not incidental. It forms part of a domestic narrative that reinforces Beijing's stance on sovereignty and respect. Beyond the immediate disputes, the briefing reflects a broader trend: China's increasing reliance on assertive diplomatic messaging, often described by analysts as part of its wolf warrior diplomacy when delivered with sharper tone, or traditional diplomacy when expressed with calm firmness, as Mao Ning demonstrates today. The style may vary, but the message remains consistent. China expects foreign governments to respect its red lines, its national dignity, and what it sees as its rightful place on the world stage. The accusations from MI5 also fit into a growing international pattern. Western intelligence agencies, including those in the UK, Australia, Canada, and the United States, have long claimed that China engages in covert political influence operations and espionage activities. China has always rejected these allegations, framing them as tools used to shape public opinion against Beijing. Today's briefing continues that narrative, suggesting not only that the accusations are unfounded, but that they represent a broader media campaign aimed at distorting China's intentions within China. Such briefings play a crucial role in shaping public perception. By framing the accusations as baseless speculation, the government positions itself as a victim of misinformation rather than a perpetrator of wrongdoing. The emphasis on erroneous reporting reflects Beijing's long-standing argument that Western media outlets distort China's actions and that global narratives have become skewed by geopolitical rivalry. Meanwhile, the dispute with Japan taps into deeper nationalist sentiments. In China, matters related to Taiwan galvanize strong public emotional responses, and criticism of foreign leaders who comment on Taiwan is a recurring theme in national discourse. Mao Ning's remarks about the Chinese public's indignation reinforce this narrative, suggesting that the suspension of Japanese seafood imports is not only a regulatory matter, but also a response to public sentiment. In the wider context of Asian geopolitics, China's tightening posture comes at a time when alliances and power structures are shifting. Japan has been strengthening its security cooperation with the United States, increasing defense spending, and making more assertive statements about regional security issues, including Taiwan. China perceives these developments as direct challenges to its regional influence, and today's remarks make clear that it is prepared to respond both politically and economically. As the briefing concludes, the cameras capture Mao Ning leaving the podium, her departure as controlled as her entrance. The The press room gradually empties, but the ripples of her comments are already spreading internationally. Analysts begin dissecting the language she used, governments issue preliminary reactions, and news outlets start shaping their headlines. The narratives that emerge will differ markedly depending on the country. In China, the briefing will be framed as a firm and justified defence against unfounded accusations. In the United Kingdom, the focus will remain on the credibility of MI5's claims. In Japan, attention will turn to the implications for trade and diplomacy. What becomes clear throughout this entire exchange is that the issues raised today extend far beyond a single press conference. They are part of broader, long-running storylines of strategic competition, diplomatic tension, and competing visions of global order. Beijing's rejection of espionage accusations reflects its awareness that political narratives shape international relations just as powerfully as economic or military decisions, and the dispute with Japan highlights how trade, politics, and national sentiment are increasingly intertwined in a volatile regional environment. For observers watching from around the world, today's briefing offers a window into the diplomatic posture China is crafting at this moment in time, assertive, confident, and unwilling to concede ground in the face of what it views as external pressure. Mao Ning's words, delivered with calm precision, carry the weight of a nation navigating complex geopolitical terrain while firmly projecting its narrative. And as the story continues to unfold, this moment, this press room, this exchange, this carefully articulated rebuttal serves as yet another chapter in the intricate dialogue between China and the world.